We're now going to move back to our original file, and we'll move into doing a bit more work here with type. Let's first go to the photo bin. You can see all the pictures that are currently open down here, and if I scroll down a little bit we can find the original file right there. That's the edited 1 file. This is the edited 2, of course, which we collapsed or flattened our image. So let's go back to edited 1. I'll just double click, and there we go. Here's our separate jets. Now what I want to do in here, I'm just going to be hiding some of these layers that I don't want. Let's just get some stuff hidden. Maybe I'll leave, we'll take that out for now. And let's hide that background jet. There we go, and I'll leave just that foreground jet, which is that one right there, and bring it up a little bit into frame. Everything else can stay as is, and let's just save this one again. Do File, Save As, and that will give us another variation. You see here, same number edited, and this time it's version number 3. And these are all being saved in a version set, as you can see right down there, saved in a version set with the original. So there we go. Now the reason I did that was to give us some space up in here to put some type in on this particular jet right there. So I'll switch back over to the type tool, come down here to the type tool, click on that, and then of course we'll bring up our type options as well down below here. We no longer need to worry about the layers on the right hand side, except I'll click back onto the layer with the jet, which is that layer right there. I know that's one because of course the eye is showing and it's not crossed through, and I'm just matching the image. Now the reason I went onto this layer is because when I put in a new type layer, the new type layer will come in above the current layer. So I'm just going to click once just into the screen here, and you see what happened on the layers over there? It gave me a new layer above the layer that I was on, and it's a new type layer. You can tell by the big T in here. Once you have your type layer in here, there's a lot you can do with it. Of course, we can put in different kinds of type layers. I'll be playing with all of these things in just a little bit here. And we can change our typeface and so forth. So let's just put in some type. There we go. Now the type is coming in kind of in a very light color here. You can kind of see it right there. That's the color that we used previously. So if I want to change that color, we'll have to change the color choices. And I'm going to stretch out the window a little bit here so we can see our color options box. There it is. If I go back to our type tool as well, I don't think this will show. Let me see if I can. There we go. There's what I wanted to show you. Right there. There's the color for the type, and it's based on the foreground color that's currently set. So you automatically get that color. Now I can change that. Let's just click in here. We can change the type. Now I just clicked just once in the middle of the text there. Let's go to a darker blue. And notice that the text didn't change. The color changed on here, but the text didn't change up here. So the next time I put in text, it will then change. Now if you want to change this text, what you have to do is select the text. Just click and drag like that, and then it goes back to the other color. I can now come in here and I can choose a new color for my text. Let's just find something which looks, that's one a darker blue, but one that kind of matches that. That's probably pretty good. Double click on that, and that then sets that text in that new color. So there's your changing of your colors of your text. Whenever you're through with something, just click on the check mark, and that sets that in place. If you want to edit that again, just double click on the type, and it takes you back into the type editing mode. We can change our typeface. Just click on the drop down here. You can choose a new typeface from the list of fonts. Now these are the fonts that are currently installed on my computer. Your font selection could be similar or it could be different. It depends on what you have installed. So I'm just going to go through now. I tend to like having big fat typefaces like that one. If I'm working on a picture, I think it's just easier to see the big fat typeface. Now this is a bold typeface, and I also have bold applied to it. So I'll undo that. It's a little cleaner looking. When you use this kind of bold here, it just puts a thin outline around the text, and if you have real small areas, it may block up your text too much. Let's just scroll down some more, see what else we have in here. I'm just grabbing the handle over here and just dragging this down. to see if anything else looks interesting. Now here's a couple of nice stencil typefaces. It's kind of a military look. That might be nice. There we go. So we have our typeface, and you can change your typeface. If it has variations, you can change those down here, or you can do fake variations on this side. At least, the bold here is a fake bold. It simply outlines it. Now watch what happens on the type as I click on that bold. It gets a little bit fatter and a little smaller as I let go. If you look carefully, I'm going to zoom in so you can see this well. I'm going to zoom in here on the 8. There we go. I'll go back to the type tool. Now watch the intersection here of the 8 as I click on that bold. You see how it kind of compresses in? So what's actually happening is that the bold here is adding an outline, and also inside as well it's thickening it up on the bold. So it's a fake bold, and it's not as good as a real bold. So if you have a typeface that has a real bold in it, use that one instead of this one over here. Okay, let's now just back out again. I'll hold the Alt key and zoom out just a little bit. There we go. And back to our type tool. Triple click gives me the whole thing selected, and you can change your type size right here. There's 48 point, and you can put in any point that you want to. In here you can actually come in here and just type in a point. Let's say I wanted to have 55 point. Just type it in like that. You can do that. The leading is the spacing between lines of text. So if you have several lines of text, you can control the spacing between your lines of text using the leading control. On the right hand side, standard stuff as you would get, or guess rather. The bold, italic is like that. Underline, there it is, underline and no underline, or strike through. You have those options. And left, center, and right alignment. This will really only show up if you have more than one line of text. Let me just do that quickly on this one. I'll move this over a little bit here and do an enter key here, and we'll put in Korean War. Now notice how this is centered right now. The text is centered. If I go left justified, it justifies on the left hand side. Right justified justifies to the right hand side, and then center. Now you will need to reposition your type as you saw there inside of the window. If you do that as well, left will jump to the right, right jumps to the left, reasons I don't really understand. But there you go, left, centered, and right. Actually, just paying attention to it, it's actually working on the center of the page. Right justified is putting the right on the center of the page. Left putting the left on the center of the page. In any case, you'll have to reposition after you change your alignment. We can look at our leading now. Let's bring our leading down a little bit. I'll put down to 36 point, which is much smaller than 55. Kind of squeezes it up a little bit. 48, a little more space. That looks pretty good for a headline. And again, hit the OK button to position that. So there we go. That is your basic type tools in here. Now, other things we can do, we can put in different kinds of type. This was your standard horizontal type right there. I could put in type vertically. Let's click on the vertical type tool, and I'll click in here. And you can see there it's coming in as vertical type. Let's try that again. There we go, F86 jet. So here's our vertical type right there. Other options are the horizontal type mask and vertical type mask. What these do is they put in the type just like we typed here, except instead of being filled in with a color, it gives you a selection area, just like we made with our selection tools over here, and you can then do anything you want in that selection area. Use it to cut out something, fill it with a color, fill it with a pattern, whatever you want to do. It just creates a selection instead of creating actual type. We can create text on a selection tool here. Actually put text right onto a selection. I'll demonstrate that in just a little bit. We can put text onto a shape, and we can put text onto a path. So we'll do all those in just a little bit. We'll take a look at some more text options here in just a couple of discussions. Let me just quickly just show you this. I'll demonstrate this one thing here. I'll put in F86. As you recall from our previous discussions, there were two ways of looking at selections. One way was with the mask, and that's what we're seeing right here, F86 as a mask. I could then fill this whatever I wanted to fill that with. Let's say come down here to the paintbrush. There's our selection, and if I then paint in here a little bit, just like that, you can kind of see how it's painting into that text selection. Let's just deselect that. There you go. So I was painting down here almost like I was airbrushing because I was using a soft edge brush. So that's working then with all of the different type tools. Let's now move on to some fancier stuff here. We're going to be using a type layer with some layer styles and get some fancier effects that way.